Well, we are continuing to peel the onion back on Guatemala, its massive child sex trafficking operation. Yesterday on the show, documentary filmmaker Ryan Mata broke the story wide open. Antony Blinken, the State Department, in coordination with NGOs and government organizations like USAID, are caught in a regime change operation that involves blackmail, extortion, money laundering, rigged elections, and yes, child trafficking in Guatemala. Angel Pineda is a Guatemalan patriot. He's the right-hand man of the Guatemalan Attorney General. He's also the lead investigator who's uncovered this massive corruption that leads straight to the corrupt Biden administration. Of course, they are not happy with him. And Angel joins us now. Angel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Clayton. Thank you for having us here. The space is wonderful to speak about this issue.
Well, I think it's so important. And, we have a saying in the United States, oh, you've stirred up a hornet's nest. I don't know if you're familiar with that saying in Guatemala, but you guys have really stirred up quite a hornet's nest. Were you shocked to find that what you were uncovering inside of Guatemala leads all the way to the top of the Biden administration?
Yeah, it was a shocking experience and an incredible experience, because we didn't know that this was going to go as far as it's going. We only started the investigation and we have to start to have a lot of attacks. But these attacks were already happening since 2021 because we have been here in the AG's office making some decisions that somebody in the U.S. Embassy here in Guatemala didn't like it, and somebody in the Secretary of State and the Department of State of the United States of America didn't like it also. So it has been a pattern on several cases that are in importance for them, but we didn't know that until now, and we are still starting an investigation ongoing with this investigation of trafficking children, but the attack is I don't know if it has a comparison in the world, only with President Trump. I see that it's the same attack like our AG is having.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's very large. And of course, what you're doing is you're trying to stop the flow of these children into this large NGO-backed child trafficking operation that's been, of course, run by the United States government at the direction of the Department of Homeland Security under Alejandro Mayorkas, massively corrupt criminal, running this operation, funneling these Guatemalan children into the United States where ostensibly they're being sold off into sex slavery and God knows what else. What was the first indication that this was happening in your investigation?
Well, I'm going to put the answer in two different phases. The first phase is when in 2020, as Guatemalans, we start to see that the migration of people, it was huge, It changed the numbers of migration from 2019 to 2020. It was different. And in 2021 was more different. So our AG created a unit here to fight against illegal migration. We created that unit here and we started to work. By now, we only have received in the 4 years that it has been going on this new unit, like 1,102 cases. But when we received last April the complaint, saying in the facts on that complaint that it may happen that when people going from Central America to the United States are in the way and in the path, being victims of different crimes, we started to put an attention. You cannot put aside your eyes and say that this is not happening. Any complaint that you receive in a prosecutor office is have to be investigated. Only the investigation is going to give you the truth. But here we say we make a different act, because as we saw that the complaint said that the people were going especially to Texas, we sent a letter to Attorney General Paxton to Texas. That only act is the one that initiate all the attack in this case per se. We receive a lot of attack in the media here in Guatemala. Some journalists that are working with the government, and with the U.S. embassy, we have seen by the way that they have been behavior that. They are trying to say that this investigation is not a good investigation and maybe is not real, but we
Right.
know that because of that reaction that something is happening here. Several months ago, we started with a raid. We went to a judge, asked authorization by judicial authorization to make a raid in the Save the Children NGO because the complaint said so. In the complaint, it was saying that another 5 NGOs can be participating in this matter. We cannot say more about the details because our law protects this kind of information, and it's more important when children is involved in investigations. Our legal system protects them more than anything. But I can say that we have already made 5 raids in different 5 NGOs here in Guatemala, NGOs that are from the different countries around the world, and the complaint says that they are helping in this possible commission of crimes.
Well, it's unbelievable. So Save the Children, one of the raids that you guys carried out, Save the Children, Jill Biden is one of the board members, or formerly one of the board members of Save the Children. Save the Children also operates in Texas. So you guys sent a letter to Attorney General Ken Paxton in Texas, letting them know about this, I guess, cooperation between the NGO in Guatemala that's funneling these children into Texas. And so let me just understand this. Then journalists in the United States, because we have a corrupt media, certainly the large, like the New York Times, Washington Post, the large publications work very closely with the government. So they are just mouthpieces of the government. They attacked you?
Well, we have been under attack by the journalists here in Guatemala. From the United States, people that have achieved and have communicated with us is people like you that is trying to know what is happening here in Guatemala.
Oh,
But
good.
here in
Okay.
Guatemala, yes, some journalists are saying that these investigations are not good, and they attack the institution of the prosecutor's office. They start to say that we are corrupt. We are ongoing a fraud investigation of our last elections because we receive a complaint on that matter, and they are saying now that we are anti-democratic because we are trying to take off the democracy here in Guatemala.
So the blowback from Secretary of State Antony Blinken, can you talk about the response that you've received from the U.S. State Department? He has not been happy with your investigation.
No. With some investigations, everything started in 2021 when our AG fired a person who worked here in a prosecutor's office, but used to work also with the U.S. Embassy. When she took the decision to fire this person, they started to attack this institution. They took the visa of our AGs, the visa of her husband. They took my visa off. They took the visa of the prosecutors that are in charge of the different investigations on investigations that are in the importance for the U.S. Embassy here in Guatemala. We have sent a lot of letters to Washington, to the different units in the Department of State and different units in the Department of Justice, trying to understand why they took this decision. Because we don't know. We know we are not criminals. We know we are not making corrupt acts. We know we are not anti-democratic persons. We are just trying to investigate because that is the function of the Ministerio Público of Guatemala. The Constitution gives us the function to investigate everything, and if you find evidence, go to the judge and get a sentence on that.
So let's talk about the children at the heart of all of this. So the United States, of course, is actively trying to funnel these children out of Guatemala. Guatemala is the largest, that is the area that provides the largest amount of children to the United States, and it's all being facilitated by the United States government. So they are actively working with these NGOs and bringing these children across the border into the United States, Hundreds of thousands of these children have now disappeared in the United States, gone, no accountability. They're not coming across the border with their parents. They're coming across the border with coyotes and other drug runners who are bringing and facilitating and bringing these children. Have you made any headway on your side in trying to stop these NGOs, these foreign NGOs, from basically invading Guatemala and stealing your children?
Well, let me tell you, we have seen now that there is a black number in this matter, because as I told you, we will receive only 1,000 complaints. When we started to talk with several friends of you from different podcasts and different media, they gave us numbers that you cannot think even about it. Now
It's mind
we are
blowing.
talking about, yeah, we are talking about more than 200,000 children from Guatemala, only from Guatemala,
Oh,
going to the United States. If you divide it on the 4 years, day by day, you can imagine how you can send a lot of children. Somebody is putting their eyes shut off, to this happen. We are investigating. We have to respect the due process. The investigation are going to give us the evidence to go to a judge and start to make consequences to the people who is responsible of these atrocious acts.
so you, on the one side, you're working hard to try to find out and uncover the real numbers and bring this to a judge, while at the same time you are under attack from the United States, the U.S. State Department under the Biden administration, calling you guys corrupt, trying to undermine your investigations. Essentially, do I understand that correctly?
Yes, that is, and I have to be very, very true in this. We have worked with the different agencies of the United States of America, the DEA, FBI, even the HSI, and we have been working very good. If you go to ask to the people, technical people that works with us, they're going to give you good information about this institution. But if you go to talk with Blinken, and with Todd Robinson and this Mr. Nichols, they are not going to say the same. But because why is that? You don't understand that. We cannot understand that. Well, we were naive. We didn't understand in that time. Right now we understand why. Because
Yeah.
something is happening here, and people also here in the state of Guatemala is helping them. And we have to
Right.
find that. We are ongoing on that.
Well, and as we've covered here on the show extensively with our reporting, it's a massive money-making operation for these NGOs that are facilitating the theft of these children into child sex slavery in the United States and other parts of the world. It is a lot of money at stake. And like I said at the beginning, Angel, you've stirred up a hornet's nest, and these people don't like to have their money taken away from them, and they certainly don't like to have, these pedophiles certainly don't like to have their children taken away from them as well. So thank you for the work that you're doing. We are watching this very closely. Thank you for being a patriot and somebody who is looking out for these children in Guatemala. Thank you so much, Angel. I know you have to run to a meeting right now, so I want to let you go, but thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
No, thank you also for giving us the space, and thank God that He's helping us also.